with Latin Roses. As you know, Neville Goddard teaches us that imagination creates reality. And in his book, The Law and the Promise, he talks about that extensively. And the biggest complaint that I hear from all of you is that I can manifest things, but you guys can't. You don't know how to do it. It's not working for you. And I think there's a missing component that you guys are failing to get. And I want to share with you a very raw and personal story that is very personal, but I feel like I want to share it so that you guys can understand maybe the secret sauce, the missing piece to the puzzle of what is keeping you from manifesting what you need to manifest in your life to create your reality, the best reality that you could have. So in this book, The Law and the Promise, there's something I want to share with you, especially for those of you who may have never read the book. To attempt to change circumstances before you change your imaginal activity is to struggle against the very nature of things. There can be no outer change until there is first an imaginal change. Everything you do, unaccompanied by an imaginal change, is but futile readjustment of surfaces. Imagining the wish fulfilled brings about a union with the state, and during that union, you behave in keeping with your imaginal change. This shows you have an imaginal change will result in a change of behavior. Now, Neville is a little deep. He had a very large vocabulary and very articulate. And in a ways, sometimes when he's describing things, it's a little hard to grasp, but if you stay with it, you can pick up some golden nuggets here, and that's what I want to share with you. However, your ordinary imagined alterations as you pass from one state to another are not transformations because each of them is so rapidly succeeded by another in the reverse direction. But whenever one state grows so stable as to become your constant mood, your habitual attitude, then that habitual state defines your character and is a true transformation. So how do you do it? Self-abandonment. That is the secret. You must abandon yourself mentally to your wish fulfilled in your love for that state, and in doing so, live in the new state and no more in the old state. That's a very big, important piece of the puzzle right there. How do you do it? Self-abandonment. That is the secret. You must abandon yourself mentally to your wish fulfilled in your love for that state, and in doing so, live in the new state and no more in the old state. You can't commit yourself to what you do not love. So the secret of self-commission is faith plus love. Faith is believing that what is unbelievable. Commit yourself to feeling of the wish fulfilled in faith that the act of self-commission will become a reality. And it must become a reality because imagining creates reality. So what I think people are missing is how to imagine. So what people, let's say for example, if somebody wants and needs a car for transportation, they're so entwined in the reality of what's happening around them now, like they cannot see in their current reality. They don't have any means to actually go out and purchase the car. Or somebody actually might just donate one to them. It could happen, but you have to really imagine it. So a lot of people imagine from it. They'll look at it. They'll see it. They'll see a car, but they'll think of it, but they won't really imagine from it. Like living in the end, they really won't feel like they're in that car, that it's possible, that it's theirs, they're driving it. They just see it. They see it, but they don't really see themselves in it. And I think deep down at some subconscious level, they feel like it's not a reality for them. So to help you with that, I wanted to kind of give you a demonstration of how deep you must go in your imagination. It might seem silly, but it really isn't. So here's my experience. So when I was working on base, when I first started my federal career in my early 20s, I worked at an Air Force base. And I was working with both civilian and military personnel. So there was like a little clique of us that bonded, and we'd go out to lunch every day together. It was co-ed, and I realized really quick that the military personnel were coming from all over the U.S., and they were stationed in that one base that we were all working at. And I realized that for the military especially, they're away from their families, so the people they work with become their family, like a second family, and they become really close. So we all bonded and we all shared a lot of private and personal things. So for the sake of keeping this safe for others that are involved in the story, we're going to call some of the personnel by false names. One of my good friends was Airman B, and he was really close to an Airman R, and we all, hang out, and we worked together, and we would go have lunch, and it was a co-ed group of us, and it was really, really fun. Sometimes you don't realize you're living in the good times until those times pass, but that was a really fun chapter of my life. So things aren't changing. I was engaged to get married, and Airman R was also going to get married to his longtime girlfriend, and they were expecting a baby, and they were also both being relocated, stationed overseas soon to a new base overseas. So anyway, there was a big changes going on for all of us in our group, and Airman R was having a really difficult time with the changes. I think he was feeling smothered by his circumstances. I think he felt trapped. I think he felt like he had to marry his longtime girlfriend, and I don't think he was ready to be a dad, and he was freaking out. So a couple weeks before Airman R had to leave, he started stalking me. I mean, every time I came out of work, he was popping out of nowhere. He was parked next to me, and he was always asking me questions like, if I wasn't engaged, would I date him? Can we date anyway till he leaves? Nobody has to know. I mean, I wasn't even attracted to him, and I never, ever was trying to put out any signals to him that I was interested in him, and it was quite scary, to be honest. And then his good best friend, Airman B, I was closer to him, and he happened to call and say, you know what, Airman R is freaking out. He's about to leave, go overseas. I think he's freaking out about getting married and having a baby. He's acting really strange. And I was like, yeah, I've noticed, because he's been stalking me. He started showing up at my job after work in the parking lot and asking me all kinds of crazy questions. And I just disclosed to him what was happening. And he was like, hey, wait a minute, do you want me to talk to him about it and straighten him out, because he shouldn't be doing that? And I was like, no, that's okay. You guys are like best friends. You guys joined the military together, boot camp and everything. I don't want to come between you guys, so I'll just have a talk with him when I see him again and just let him know 100% that this isn't going to happen and he needs to just stop. It's not right. So later on that day, when I came out of my job, he wasn't there. I was so relieved, because I really didn't want to have to talk with him. I was really quite scared, actually, and I think Airman A got that, or Airman B, when I was talking to him, because he just knew me. He just knew I was scared. So the next morning at work, I get a call from Airman B, and he says, oh, you don't have to worry about Airman R anymore. He's not going to be bothering me anymore. And I was like, why? What happened? He said, well, I had a little talk with him, and I told him he needs to stop. What he's doing is not right, and you're scaring her, and you need to stop. And so I don't think he's going to bother you again. But if he does, you let me know. And I was like, whoa. I was surprised, and I felt flattered, and I felt really relieved, and I felt safe again. And I was so happy that my friend talked to his friend about it. And so it ended, and he left. And then things changed. I got married. I relocated to another base, and our whole department moved. And so Airman Z moved to, Airman B, all these letters mixed up in my head. And he would come see me like at least once a month with with my coworker, and the gang kind of split up. Some of the people didn't move over to the next base and with us, and so our clique just kind of fell apart. So Airman B would still come and see me and another of my girlfriends that we worked all together. We were all friends, and at least once a month that we'd catch up. Then one day he came to see me, and I was quite shocked that he shared with me that his mother had passed away, and he was emotionless. I knew he was hurting because he came to talk to me about it. So I told him, I didn't know your mom, but I'm pretty sure she was very proud of you. And, if you want to talk about it more, if you need to vent and let it out, I'm here for you. And he kept his emotions in check, and I knew he was really hurt and hurting, but he wouldn't release. But I felt honored that he trusted me enough to share that with me, and I was trying to be there and comfort him and help him if he needed help. But he was being brave, and he didn't want to break down with me anyway. So that was fine, but I just hoped that my conversation with him was helpful. Anyway, after that, he came by and stopped by maybe a couple more times. And the last time I saw him, he was acting kind of strange himself. He was just simply really quiet. I couldn't get anything out of him, and I felt really weird. I just didn't, uncomfortable. I was quiet, and I couldn't be myself because it just was weird. It's just so weird. And he was a short visit, and he just said, I just came to say hi, and then he left. And then I didn't see him for like 2 or 3 months went by. No communication. And I was starting to get worried because I thought maybe he was depressed after his mom passed away. I wasn't sure if he was going to hurt himself. So I finally went and found one of his friends that I ran into on base, and I asked him, hey, how is Airman B? I haven't seen him in a while. And he goes, oh, you don't know? And I was like, no what? And he was like, oh, he discharged about 3 months ago. Is it discharged? Yeah, he discharged. And he didn't even say goodbye to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, he didn't say goodbye to me either. I was wondering where he was. I don't know if he was at that point dead or alive. And it really bothered me. And I think he was trying to say goodbye. That last time I saw him, he was really quiet and acting strange, but I don't know. And it really bothered me. But I was always hoping that he stayed safe and he was happy. He found happiness somewhere out in his life. I was always hoping he never killed himself or anything, that he just actually went on with his life, right, and moved on. So as the years went by, just most recently, the freeway was congested when I was trying to go home. In California, the freeways are pretty bad. It was extremely congested, so I decided I just didn't want to deal with it, so I got off and took the streets home. And the way I was going home was actually passing by the first base where I ever worked at with Airman B and M&R and all that group. And the air show was going on too. And I saw these airplanes doing these great, marvelous, fantastic tricks in the air. And it just brought me back to the memories of Airman B and all our friends hanging out. And I got sad. I got really sad. And I just said in my mind a little prayer for him, sending him love and peace and joy, whether he's here on this planet or not. I was just wishing him well. And then I suddenly started conjuring up an imaginal scene with him, because I guess at the end of the day, deep down subconsciously, I want to talk to him again. I want to see him again. I want to know that he's okay, right? And because I have an upcoming lunch with my girlfriends, and I was imagining that we were at this new restaurant, and he was there, and he was the owner, and he came over to us. And this is all my imagination, right? Doing this. And in my imagination, he comes up and he says, excuse me, ladies, I don't mean to interrupt your lunch, but I just couldn't help. I never will forget this one little special face. Are you so-and-so? Do you remember me? I'm Airman B. And in my imagination of the scene, I see him older and I see him happy and he's looking really good, but tears start coming to my eyes. And I'm like, of course, I remember you. And in fact, you discharged without saying goodbye. And I didn't know if you were dead or alive. And so in my imagination, just like now, I'm getting choked up. I'm like, I'm raw. I don't even care who's around in this restaurant. I don't care if they know that he was my friend and I cared what happened to him. And I just I got really emotional. I felt like I was really in his presence, and I felt like I was just letting him know how hurt I was that he didn't say goodbye to me. And so in my imagination, he comes around to where I'm at, sitting down, and he hugs me and he says, I'm so sorry. I didn't want to say goodbye to you. I couldn't say goodbye to you, so I'm sorry if I caused you pain. And so he's comforted me, and I pulled myself together, and I said, well, I'm glad you're doing fine. I'm glad you're happy now. And so the scene ends soon, but the fact is, when I came out of that imaginal state, I was kind of shocked, like, how real it was. I feel like I was really there. I felt like I was really seeing him, and I felt my friends were really there, interacting and seeing what was happening. And I was just not afraid, uninhibited, to be real about what I was feeling and the pain that I felt all these years. I was letting it out, and it was just like, I was really, really crying, and emotionally, tears were rolling down my eyes. And it was just like, wow, that is a good example of getting lost in your imaginational state, and it's really real to you. It's really real to you. Now, I've had this, admittedly, this same kind of a scene where I see him again, and it's usually in a restaurant with my friends. I don't know why. And it's different restaurants, and it's a little different each time, but I've had these imaginational scenes that just kind of come up. I think it's just my way of releasing what I'm feeling, and because I want to know he's okay and if he's alive. But I don't know if he's here, alive on the planet. So I've tried to locate him, and I've been unsuccessful. I just want to know he was okay. And so I feel like it's kind of a release, cathartic for me. But I think if he's not on the planet, if he's not alive, I'm never really going to see him again. But it's kind of like, but I did. I really was there. I really did see him. And I kind of felt like this last time, I really did see him. And I really did communicate with him. And I think it was real. And that's what I'm sharing this with you, painful part of my past, what I experienced and what I still carry with me. I'm sharing it with you guys today because I'm hoping it will expose you to the real way you're supposed to imagine when you're trying to create your reality. You have to be really in it. You can't just think of it. You got to think from it. You got to live in that state. So sometimes when I'm cooking in my kitchen, another quick example is I'll actually get glimpses of imagining a beautiful kitchen my dream kitchen that I want to be in. Even though when I look around me, I'm in my old kitchen, and I'm grateful to have a kitchen. But I would really love this beautiful, wonderful kitchen, and I sometimes see myself in this kitchen when I'm cooking, glancing. So you have to, throughout your day, at least once a day, think of your imaginal state of what you're trying to create. And the point of this, the whole point of this, is the secret to it. It's you have to see it, you have to hear it, you have to feel it, and you have to do it frequently, at least once a day, to get you to where you want to be. So if you guys have any questions for me, let me know in the comments below. I don't want this to go too long, but I think you guys kind of get the gist of what I'm trying to say here. And if you like this video, hit like. If you want to stay in touch, subscribe. And as always, I wish you love, peace, and joy.